It's going live. Now Richard, this is a great song.
Wow, this is amazing, man.
We are going to get Ginelle a job today.
I can feel it.
She's going to get a job today after this.
Oh, God. Hey, I'm getting ready for the job party tonight, guys. So that's going to be so much fun.
These guys are getting all pumped up. All right, I got to shut this coming up. All right, everybody. This is a special show that Richard and I usually do on Fridays called Hire Me Fridays, that we bring on a candidate, and we spend 15 minutes with them just to learn and put them out there. And, this is free. A direct hire, Richard, that's free.
Free. I always say that, right?
So, and I do I'm going to introduce her in 1 second. I do have a video resume already for her that she's completed from Duckenau. We can send. And from the Hamburg Pa area, which is close to the Lehigh Valley. And that's where I met my wife 10 years ago in Hamburg, right in town, right there. I met her right there, right next to the police station, but I wasn't there, but I was right next to the police station right there. Hey, Tuvia is already here. So
shout out to Tuvia. Thanks for watching, buddy.
And one thing nice with Ginelle here is this is my area, because with handling Lehigh Valley and the Reading, PA area, I know so many logistic companies, so many different companies that are going to be searching for, her type of position. So, Richard, I'm going to take it off to you.
All righty. Well, hey, welcome to the show. Don't be nervous. As you know, we call it freestyle speech, right? We're just having a good time here. We're going to learn a little bit about you, and we're going to push you out there to hopefully get you another job. So we're just going to deep dive into, like I always say, the Shark way. I tell you what, just start us off with tell us a little bit about yourself, your hobbies, what you like to do, some of your passions.
Sure. Well, I learned a whole lot about myself via COVID because I was laid off back in March, and I had a lot of time to think and reflect on what is it that really makes me tick. So since then, I have endless hobbies. And I think that's something that's unique about me is I kind of like to dabble in a little bit of everything. So most recently, I've taken up bike riding. I've always been a dancer. I've been a professional dancer since the age of 18. So that's something I'll always do and will always enjoy. But I started sewing, and then I decided to start getting into vinyl work and cooking and you name it. I'm pretty much down to try anything, and I tend to latch onto a lot of things and be good at them naturally. So hobbies are just, the list is endless. Gardening, yeah, I love it all. Digging around in the weeds. So I'm a pretty outgoing person. I have a lot of energy. So anything in regards to being active is just something I just really enjoy.
Nice.
Well, that's awesome. So open, but I always say open-minded, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when Ginelle reached out, we've been working together with the video resumes, and we've been trying to target different companies, trying to find a position in. And I'm going to let you discuss what kind of position that you're looking for, Ginelle, because if I say it, I'm already going to say 10 different ways to say this with HR. So this is your time.
Spotlight.
Absolutely. So I'm a natural born leader. And like I already said, I'm super energetic. So it's important for me to work for an organization that has a great flow and has a great energy. I really appreciate a progressive company as well. I spent the last 14 years in talent acquisition and dabbling in various aspects of HR. I'm really looking to get back into a leadership position. That's where I've spent the last 7 or 8 years, is mentoring recruiters and HR professionals. It's what I really enjoy. I stumbled into recruiting and HR accidentally. And I started with a juvenile program, and it just flourished from there. And I really just loved it. I promoted quickly. I promoted several times. And I just want to continue to see my career grow within talent acquisition and HR. So I'm open to companies. I'm open to industries. I think that's what's great about what I do is I can work for any company.
I know.
As long as they have an HR department, which I sure hope they do.
Yeah, right.
I can go anywhere, and I'm versatile. So, and I'm resilient. I'm not afraid to change. This whole COVID thing I know has really mixed some things up. Obviously, not working hasn't been great, but I'm resilient. I'm tough. I'm stern. I can get back in there, and I just want to get back to work. I'm excited to get back into, making what I do, doing what I do, and making a company the greatest it can possibly be in regards to HR and talent acquisition.
See, Richard, why she's such a great candidate, why the video resume, this is what I want to send, because look right now, Rich, we've talked about it numerous times. Personality, we know what she's done.
Yes.
You know, her background is awesome within the HR community. And you got to look at that. That's what's nice about this. And I'm going to let you hit something that you talk about, passion and.
Exactly. Well, right off the bat, you have my heart right off the bat when you said you work with juveniles. I don't know if anybody knows, but I used to be a juvenile probation officer for over 10 years. So I know the ins and outs about that. And I bring that knowledge I have and expertise into the staffing industry because I'm always listening. I'm always hearing kids out and adults too now. So it's amazing. So I just want to give you a contribute to that. That's awesome that you worked with juveniles. I tell you what, we need more people like that. It's a field there that's dying for workers. So
it is.
I'm a hard on that one. That's when you struck gold. I was like, wow, you know. So I sound like I'm Simon off American Got Talent or something.
I know. I'm like,
you're in it to win it, right?
No,
but,
that's the chair where you turn around, or we could try a show like that.
And you hit the gold and it flies everywhere. But tell you what, tell us a little bit about what you do to give back, like just something in the community or anything. It could be family or whatever, something that you really believe in.
Sure. I believe in a whole lot. Equal rights is a huge thing for me. I'm really passionate about that. So I started doing some volunteer work, getting involved with really helping people find their voice. Another thing, it sounds minor, but it was actually huge for me. Like I said, when I first got laid off in March, I had a whole bunch of time on my hands. So I started sewing face masks for people. I know that there was a massive shortage at first, and I kind of dusted off the old sewing machine and started giving back by donating as well as selling face masks. So that it's just, sometimes I think it's the little things, you know, donating food to food pantries and just going around the community. Hamburg has once a year, unfortunately they canceled it, but once a year they do a cleanup. And we talked about having each member on every street in our town be responsible for their own street and cleaning up after, you know, events or just the random litter that collects. So I think it's all about doing little things. I don't think you need to necessarily hone in on one. I think it's about, you know, finding little things that are important to you and putting it all together and feeling like you're making some sort of difference, because ultimately we're the future and we're raising the future. So we want to hope that we're leaving a great world for them behind. And that's what makes me excited, the little things.
Wow. And you know what I like about what you just said there is giving equals growth. And I say that so much. And it's one of my passion mottos that I actually apply every day is we all are working as a team. You know, we're going to try to get you a job. Somebody's helping somebody else out. Somebody's helping me. I'm helping Dave. Dave's helping me. See how we're all uniting together. And this is what we need. Anybody out there on LinkedIn, this week's all about uniting too. It's not about just learning about everybody else. It's about collaboration with everybody. So anybody that's on our shows or anything, connect with them because we love all.
And then, you know, Ginelle, what I wanted to ask, you know, being from our area, and being in HR to me, Rich, HR used to just scare the hell out of me. That's all HR was. HR never would call through the years, hey, come on in the office. You're scared to death. It's always like, it's not just to say, hello, hey, Dave, how you doing?
Usually when you get called in the office, Dave, you're not getting a raise. You know that.
No, I know. You know, but no, seriously, I've had to use HR a couple times the last couple of years. And Ginelle, if you had to say, what have you experienced through the years, the change in the HR? Besides, I always say HR should not be doing recruiting anymore. HR should be doing HR stuff with employees, because I really feel, I go back years, HR was like, if you had a problem, you weren't afraid to go to it. You weren't afraid to say, hey, Ginelle, I got a problem. Can you talk to me? And not worry about losing your job, not worry about, you know, you could open up to the person. Some people don't do that as much as they should anymore because they hold it back. So I want you to explain, have you seen a change in the years and how do you handle that?
Sure. I've seen so many changes over the last, like I said, 14 or 15 years, everything from how you recruit to how you handle people. I agree in some ways with what you said, that previously people had no problem going to HR and expressing their concerns. And then I think that kind of slowed down a little bit. But what I'm noticing is with millennials and Generation X, they're not as afraid to speak their mind any longer, which I'm all about. Wow. You know, if there's a problem, let's address that problem. Let's talk about how we can fix it and correct it moving forward, so we don't continue to have these same problems happening over and over again. A closed mouth don't get fed. So, and that's, I feel like that's how HR needs to handle things. You know, you need to make sure that your staff understand that you are accessible, And not only have them come to you, but you need to go to them and check in with them as well. I know that's not always the easiest for some companies. Some companies have thousands of employees, and a lot of the times not nearly enough HR professionals to help those employees. But I think you have to break down those barriers. I've worked with companies where they were afraid to go to the HR floor because it's HR and I don't want to step foot on that floor. So you have to break down barriers. And we started by, I started sending my recruiter down to other floors and just having them walk around and check in with people. Just periodic check-ins. How you doing? How's the family? How are things? Are you ordering lunch today? What are you getting? I was thinking about ordering from here. Simple things will break down those barriers so you're personable, and then they can feel comfortable coming to you when they need to.
Exactly. And that's what I like, Rich, right there. It's the same thing within staffing. It's not so much, just like with the other guests, it's like, how you doing, saying Tubi will even say that. He has a passion, he cares. So it's not like you have to, when I joke around saying, but HR did scare me. But, you took that time just to walk out on the floor and say, hey, how are you? What did you have for dinner last night? And it'll make that person's day. You agree, Rich?
Totally. Make them feel special, and, I just love everything you've been saying. I mean, you have passion for everything. I got one other thing I'd like to ask you, like during a crisis or like a problem solving issue, tell me something that you problem solved yourself. Because I know you think outside the box all the time.
Oh, you can tell.
It's funny. I feel like I think outside the box so much and it becomes so natural that when I get asked questions like these, I'm like, when was the last time I did that? I'm like, okay, every day you're constantly problem solving something. Mm-hmm. One thing I really enjoy is working with numbers and within systems. An ATS system is what recruiters tend to use when they're screening and going through applicants. And one thing I've learned is that a lot of companies aren't using their ATS systems to their fullest capabilities. So I love problem solving that. I love going through a system, breaking it down and saying, well, why aren't we using this function? Because our candidates' experience is extremely important. When they're applying to a position, they want to feel like that they are really being taken care of through that. If our ATS system is able to help us through that process, why aren't we using it to its fullest capabilities? Breaking it down, figuring out how it can be better used, and then presenting the information to the powers that be to ensure that we can unlock that. And at the end of the day, make the process a little more streamlined for our candidates. So we're solving multiple problems. Our recruiters are going to have an easier time recruiting. The candidates are going to feel more inclined to want to work for that company and be excited about the opportunities that we're offering to them. So I think that's just one. Just
that's it, Rich. I'm mesmerized. I'm just listening to her like it's perfect. I mean, and you say it so, I don't know, it just comes right out.
Gracefully is the word. Gracefully. So it's not like you scripted this.
That's what I mean. It's just right there. Your heart. I only have one more question, Rich, for me, and then I'll let you everybody listen, I know the Lehigh Valley again, and I'm not saying anything like hint, Amazon in Hamburg or that area there, or FedEx. Hint that I'm trying to find some emails for her video resume. I'm not saying any companies like that, Rich. FedEx, Amazon. I would never say that that's where she wants to work. Hint. But on that note, I would send that video resume for free right over to him, as a gift from us to say, here you go, and I can't appreciate your honesty because if you, again, I go back to HR, you said about the millennials, and I'm going to give you a couple examples from us being in staffing and you as being the client. So many times we have candidates come to us and say, I have a problem with, say, a candidate or a supervisor there at the client site. I don't like that stuff to get overlooked anymore. Because if that person, whether they're Rich, we know we don't like this word, temp, contract, they are a worker, they're an employee. So that's what I'm trying to break that barrier on. Those exit interviews are very important. And to follow up, there's two sides of the stories, but I really believe that you have to work as a team, the staffing company and the client, and listen and not be afraid to address, because if it's a supervisor giving 3 or 4 candidates of the staffing agency issues, maybe there is something that HR needs to go out and say, okay, to this person, is this going on? Do you agree with that, Ginelle? I mean,
absolutely. And I actually wanted to touch on something you said. It is such a pet peeve of mine when companies have exit interviews, but they do absolutely nothing with the information.
That's what I mean.
What is that? You're collecting this data. you're finding that there's all these different problems going on, but you're not addressing any of them. Why waste your time with that then? If you truly care about retention of your employees, you're going to pay attention to the reason why they're leaving and then actually address that issue.
That's it. Because some companies want the exit interviews, and I had one. I said, "Are you sure?" Yes. I lost the account within 3 weeks. Yep. Because I gave him the feedback. There was an issue to where there was a couple people there that were giving our employees issues. I kept saying, he was like, "No, that can't be happening." Okay. Next person, why are they turning over? Same reason. There's no way. Third time. After that, I didn't get no more orders. Mm-hmm. They wanted to know the reason. And I take this so seriously, as you can tell, because I believe if you're just honest, if that you could slow down the retention by addressing the issue, not just like, well, I don't like it because that supervisor's mean to me, or I didn't want to do it because I was nervous. I didn't want to do it. It was unsafe. You need to stop. And that's where HR comes in. I'm sorry. That has to get back to that and not be afraid, because that's what I hear a lot, Rich, is they're afraid to lose their jobs to go to HR. That's just some of the feedback that I get a lot.
No, I agree with both of you. And you know what? I'm going to elaborate just a little bit on this. Yeah. I have this experience too, that, you know what, you go in with our contract workers and they're acting up, they're bad. And then it's always two sides to the story. Like I always said, my workers, they got my name on them. They got it tattooed. So I'm going to represent them till I hear the other side of the story. And I think a lot of companies don't want to hear the drama. They just rather say, sweep it under the rug and say, you know what? It never happened. This never really happens. They're exaggerating, which at the end, if they got to the root of the problem, it would save 50 to 100 workers a year. Easy. Simple things like that, you know, they just need somebody to come in and just say, this is what needs to be done. But once again, it's change, right? We all have to change. And if nobody wants to change, we can do as much as we want. They have to change. And it starts from the top down.
Yes. Exactly. So you're going to have before we end our speeches, Ginelle, if you had to say in 30 seconds, 45 seconds to FedEx or Amazon in your area, what would you say to a company of why they should hire you?
I think it's important to have a fresh set of eyes at times. And being that I'm looking for a leadership role, it's important to have somebody who can be collaborative with the staff. And that's ultimately what I'm looking at. I'm looking to get back into a role where I can help develop the recruiting team, but also make a great relationship with everybody involved with the company. I'm definitely forward thinking. And like I said, I'm super energetic as well. So I'm just ready for a challenge. I'm ready for the next chapter and step in my career. I have a lot of excitement to get back to what I used to do.
No, and I personally, myself, and I'm going to let Richard end it again for the Lehigh Valley, Reading, PA, you're willing to travel. I know you're in Hamburg and you're in a good location. You can go to the Lehigh Valley. You can go all the way. You said up till you're willing to commute for 1 hour. You're okay with that?
Yep, I'm open to commuting up to an hour. I'm also open to remote work. I have a nice, quiet office in my home, so I'm comfortable. All
right, and I am going to tag Richard. This is what's nice when you have somebody in your own area. 45 minutes from you, she is. I am going to tag the heck out of every freaking person at Amazon and FedEx and a couple other companies, that I know of. So I'm going to really tag, and really everybody reach out to Ginelle on LinkedIn. I have her email here. Also, I have the video resume that I could send right to the hiring manager, and you can see a great interview to see whether you want to bring her in for an interview. So Richard, I'm going to end it on this with you, as you always like to say.
Alrighty. I just want to tell you, it's been a pleasure. Keep up the positive vibe. We need more people like you out there across the world. So keep that positive vibe up, that great smile. What we do all the time, I always say at the end, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go like this and say shark, okay?
You got to do the shark.
You got to do the shark. It's every show. We got to do it. Ready?
All
1, 2, 3.
Shark! All right.
And on that note, thanks a lot again.
Yes. And